So today's not going very well. Welcome to the Lost Forgotten channel, where the host no longer gives a fuck. See? There's proof. Look, there's more proof. What is that? That is a trash bag with a receipt in it. And paper towels. Yes, see? If I had a fuck, I'd wipe it off with this shit and throw it away. Or maybe I could give it to you, and then I could give a fuck. But I don't think that's gonna happen today, man. So today I just got off the phone with like a dozen or so different congressional interns, half of which were clueless, about a third of which were kind of insensitive and unappreciative. You know. Oh look, the sun's getting brighter when I think about the interns. Look out for an outtakes video one day. That's going to be hilarious. Anyways, calming down now. Calming down. No need to, fucking have the sun beaming in here and everything. So I am an antediluvian exorcist. I've been reincarnated dozens and dozens of times as far as I can remember. And this has helped me to realize the danger America was in long before any of you knew. Now, this goes back to 2011, and I was basically telling people what they're just figuring out right now since 2013. I'd started a Facebook group in 2014 after the invasion of Crimea, and started this YouTube page after Facebook shunned me for being racist against Russians for complaining that they were invading something. Yeah, that's racist, right? When you complain that somebody's invading. No, that's Facebook is full of shit. Kitten, can you not bite the fuck out of me? What the hell are you doing? You're chasing your own tail on my leg. Just because you want to be masochistic against your own tail. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm grooming myself. What do you think? I'm a kitten. Anyways, the kitten is all that matters. Okay. I enjoy how stupid I look on here. Like, I do this mostly to amuse myself, I admit. Anyway. So, I'm going to go through some notes, and you're going to sit right there. And, to the people who I was gracious enough to call today, to the people who I've been gracious enough to spend 20 hours a day for the past 5 years trying to save the lives of. See, there I go. I'm thinking about the interns again, and the fucking sun's out. I just want to express my deep appreciation for your lack of any ability to treat another human being with compassion. It's kind of fucking disappointing coming from Democrats, especially. And it makes me feel like all of my efforts weren't just in vain. It makes me feel like it wasn't worth it to begin with. That you weren't worth saving. Okay? So brush up on your fucking people skills. The other hand's holding the camera. I'm really irritated. I apologize to my actual viewers, the people who give a fuck and actually realized what was going on and searched for somebody to provide them answers, and can tell you that I've provided all of the answers. I've provided more answers than you even have questions, because right now, congressional people, you're so clueless that you wouldn't even know which questions to ask me. Do I have a stern face? Do I look serious? I'm trying to. I'm really trying to. What is truth? Quem veritus? What is history? How far back does fake news go? Do you know? Are you certain? Did you spend the past 7 years plus studying exactly that? What's your IQ? I know I keep bringing that up because I broke records on my IQ test. And I was scouted by Naval Intelligence when I was 16 years old and given a track to $235,000 a year. Then I got hit by a car, okay, which counts against my IQ because, it's kind of stupid to get hit by a car. But these are the jokes. But I've always been a very knowledgeable, capable person. More knowledgeable and more capable than most people. Okay? It's just my thing. Okay? Everybody's got their own thing, right? You have some sort of hobby you enjoy, I'm sure. My hobby is knowing everything. And I mean everything. From your perspective, from the person you hate's perspective. I know everything from all perspectives. Okay? Everything that relates to my task in life, I've made sure that I knew it. There's going to be 15 people that are going to see this in the next 24 hours that have given up on God. Okay? What I want to tell you is that you failed intellectually. That's why you've given up on God. You failed an intellectual battle. You succumbed to cognitive dissonance when faced with straw man arguments. True Christianity is just called being a Democrat. Okay? Republicans do not speak for the baby Jesus. That right there proves your intellectual failing because you let your emotions decide on something existential. The reason I bring this up is because I have difficulty being dismissed on an intellectual basis by people with IQs in the 140s at best. See, after I got my IQ test and broke those 2 records, did I mention I broke 2 records in engineering capability when I took my IQ test? 2 records. Fucking records. They didn't even know what the hell to grade me as. Okay? I was off the predicted scale. It was the anticipated scale, they called it. It's not very common people do that. When I asked the lady what my IQ was, she said that's most likely going to be classified. I said, can I guess? She said, you can try. said, what's the highest your chart goes to? She said 165. And I thought to say 177. But I was um, not trying to be pretentious or blasphemous. 217. So I said, and I had all these thoughts in a split second. So I said, can I say it's 175? And she said, that would be a conservative estimate. So, the people watching this, your IQs are most likely between 115 and 143. Okay? Right? Can you do subtraction? Consider the difference between your IQ and an ape's. Now understand, what you have failed to see all around you. It's like when you're watching the Discovery Channel and you see some lions on the other side of some grass and the cameraman doesn't do anything about it. Technically, he can't. Maybe he's too far away. Maybe he can't speak gazelle or wildebeest or whatever. Maybe I don't speak your booga booga language. Now, understand that I feel like the human watching animals about to get slaughtered. And those animals can't see beyond the grass. If I were to tell them, on the other side of the grass, there's a lion, y'all better watch the fuck out, they would just look at me like I'm crazy. Motherfucker, I don't speak human. Oh. Y'all don't speak Nothen. I understand that. But you need to pull your heads out of your asses and think for a second, oh, maybe we have a national asset whose IQ is higher than Neil deGrasse Tyson's or Stephen Hawking's, just for the record. And rather than looking at the stars, he's actually been paying attention to what's going on the fucking planets. Ha ha! Why aren't you glad that somebody was? None of you were. So, I'm just in a fucking bitchy, pissy mood. And I apologize to those who don't find it very comedic when I rant like this. I find it comedic. I find it fucking hilarious. But, you know, there's obviously something wrong with me because I think you fucking morons are willing to actually listen and learn and save yourselves. You keep proving me wrong, and I keep repeating the same action, expecting a different result. That, to me, is the definition of insanity. Not having an open mind to your own existence. Anyway. But you guys keep repeating the same action, expecting a different result. You think being anti-God is okay. You don't understand how it's dividing the country. And that's why you're anti-me, and you think being anti-me is okay. What you don't understand is that's why the country is being destroyed. I can't help that I'm the only person who fucking noticed. I can't help that I understand the situation infinitely better than all of you do. Nor can I help that you're too ignorant to understand half the words that I say about it. And you roll your eyes and you think, oh, he just doesn't know what he's talking about. I understand your perspective. I understand the history that you learned. You're not even doing intellectual due diligence in trying to understand my perspective. That's called being an intellectual failure. See, you know what actually makes someone smarter than anyone else? It's called giving a fuck. Yeah. As little as I give a fuck, I still give a fuck more than most people. I think to me, not giving a fuck is being about 10 times more concerned than your average person. That's about as little of a fuck as I'm even capable of giving, because here I am not giving a fuck, and I'm still recording a video, aren't I? Even though I'm doing a shitty job of it. Even though my fucking spirit pressure and my hair and my anger is just flaring right now. And I'm really just kind of craving like meteors and tsunamis and shit. I'm still filming a video. Why? I have no idea. Maybe the few people that watch that actually give a fuck find this entertaining. And I'm, I don't owe it to anybody to keep going. I don't owe it to anybody to keep telling you the fucking truth. But you owe it to yourselves to listen. And I don't want to be called a shitty parent on Judgment Day when I have to hear you whine and beg for mercy. So, we're going to do some notes. Old school style. I've written a bunch of these down. These are borderline incoherent and very scattered, but... So, some questions that Google should have answered. I'm just going to go through those. I already have those in another video. I'm just going to make sure I didn't miss anything. Do you know which of your employees, YouTube, are responsible for backdoor-enabled pro Putin trolls? Russian channels, anti-American channels being monetized. Do you know which of your employees are responsible for the enabling of SWAT flagging of Ukraine and NATO activists? Because people who were pro-Ukrainian and pro-NATO were being harassed, and that harassment was being completely allowed by Facebook. They'd shut down my account without asking, without investigating. What steps did you take, Google, Facebook, Twitter, to protect Americans from disproportionate troll flagging, disproportionate harassment by Russians between Crimea and the 2016 election? What actions did you take between the invasion of the Crimea and the 2016 election? Not after the 2016 elections. What actions did you take after the Russians invaded Crimea? Nobody asked that question. That's why I think you're all fucking morons. Do you understand why you're a moron yet? Nobody asked that fucking question, did they? What actions did they take between the invasion of Ukraine and the election to make sure that Americans weren't having their free speech violated by Russians? They took no action of the sort. They took the opposite of such actions. They let Russian trolls run free on Facebook. Facebook, Google, Twitter, do you owe centrist activists an apology for assisting in this coup against the United States? Why is my live stream hosted through Belgium? How is it possibly efficient in the technological world, which I thought I understood pretty well, you know, having been an IT guy for 20 fucking years. You take my live stream and you put it to Belgium, and then it's supposed to come back to America? That's called suppression. And I will find you and fuck you up for it. Okay? And anyone who doesn't help me can consider themselves cursed. I'm done fucking around with you children. That one thing is definitely decided. This is probably going to be the last video of its kind. Okay? Unless somebody contacts me and asks me to provide more summative information or continue reporting as I have been, continue collecting evidence as I have been. Basically, y'all can kiss my ass. I'm done. You want to fucking respect me for all the shit that I've done? Y'all aren't worth it then. Period. You're just not fucking worth it. Why is the Lost Begotten live stream hosted in Belgium? And why is it demonetized anytime there's Russia in the title? What does u2.be mean if you're denying that it's hosted in Belgium? It's u2.be, youtu.be, is the fucking Belgian YouTube server. Now, all three groups should have asked, why isn't there a do not allow contact from outside US and NATO countries? Okay, all the way through the 90s, AOL had this shit. eBay used to have this shit. But now that Facebook and Google have taken over everything, these Russian fucking colluders, you, the American citizen, are no longer allowed to select, don't let me be harassed by America's enemies. You just can't select that like you used to. Isn't that nice? I think that's lovely. Not only were Democratic activists isolated and their efforts marginalized, while being drowned out by Russian paid ads and trolls and enabled harassment, this campaign of psychological disruption discouraged these people who were being who weren't being paid or using fake likes that you can buy from continuing to produce content, and forced them to watch in horror as trolls took over the conversation that would decide the fate of the 2016 election. Now, Google and Facebook said that they had these special means of doing, limiting the views of and limiting the access of certain channels who were trolls or providing stream of content on behalf of Russia. These cutout fucking propaganda pieces. Okay. Hi, my name's Sean Morris. I was born in New Orleans. I have had the same email address since 1995, and you should fucking know that. There is no legal excuse for you being unaware of that. I am probably one of the longest users of the internet. I should be one of the most easily verifiable because I had a site that had #1 search results for a long fucking time called getarealcomputer.com. And despite the fact that I, know HTML and can type meta tags and whatnot, and was good enough to not have to pay for an algorithm helper or anything like that, and actually got search results, I've been unable to be successful on YouTube. As the Trump and Russia campaigns were colluding with each other, I've shared screenshots with on this jump file that you guys got, and you can see where my channel is getting usual views and even starting to grow, and then the collusion started between Trump and Russia, and then it went. Go look. I mean, the pattern is pretty obvious, and even when I found ways situationally, by causing the Great Flood of 2016, for instance. Sorry. I'm not going to go into any spiritual self-identification on this video, but this is Merlin's wand. I don't know how I got it. Anyways. If you'd like the rest of my hard drives that I have sitting untapped, I'll let you look at it. But anyways. I have now completely distracted myself. Okay, what was I talking about? The things with the stuff. And the you guessed it, folks, pudding pops. No. Pause button. The pattern of my views and whatnot. You see a giant spike when the flood of 2016 happened. But then, if the FBI was smart enough to pull the records, they could see my contacts between Math Powerland and myself. Math Powerland was somebody who I was investigating as being a prime example of a very clever FSB agent who's not a citizen, who's in this country, last I checked, posing as an American for the most part, and propagandizing people against the United States. He may still work for them, or he may be a good candidate for a whistleblower. I can't really tell anymore. But oh. Why don't you lay down like that? Well, the kid stepped on this kitten last night. He's fine, but anyways. Oh no, I forgot what I was talking about again. See. No excuse to suppress me. Spikes on the channel. Cough. Oh yeah, still got balls. Okay. Um. Anyway, so what you can see is extreme parity, coincidence between my hair and the mood that I'm in. No, between Trump campaign meetings with Russia and the amount of money I made on my fucking channel. And then Michael Flynn's last fucking meeting, and like after the election, I had a spike in views. And then the Mike Flynn meeting, gone. And I've been struggling ever since. Right now, my live stream is disabled, even though I have 0 copyright strikes. And the copyright strikes that they're trying to pin on me are for fair use commentaries of news videos. Which now, after I've appealed, they're now asking for my home address to be given to the people, who I think are actually Russian agents. Because it's not CBS News that's done the flagging. It's this CBS CID. I don't know who the fuck these people are, but they're flagging my videos when and only when they have to do with Russia. Okay. I don't regularly use anything from CBS for this reason. But I have found no proof in any way that YouTube does this, like has like a overlord channel for network channel. To the best of my knowledge, and I've researched it, they're supposed to just copyright, flag, and send the information to the channel that posted it, which in this case would be CBS News, not CBS CID. I may be mistaken, but I'm not about to give them my home fucking address. I'm tempted to, but you know, it's just like not something I want to go into right now. I've got a what you call a wish a motherfucker would complex. 6'3" martial arts and weapons mastery. The only thing more dysfunctional than my give a fuck a meter is my take shit from anyone a meter. Anyways. I don't know. If it's a news agency censoring their own news, I just find that hard to believe. Especially considering that, and relevant. Russian channels are broadcasting CBS News. Russian channels, okay, fake fucking YouTube channels are broadcasting CBS News. And it's being monetized. And that money is being paid back to Russia through Google. And they're turning a blind eye to it. But CBS is going to come and flag me. And I can't live stream. There are daily MSNBC and CNN live streams monetized, paying Russia. There are daily conspiracy and all kinds of other different uploads every single day, getting millions and millions of views. Okay, possibly up to 1 billion views a day. Okay, because Facebook does have like billions of views a day, if I'm not mistaken. And what could very easily amount to millions of dollars per day is being funneled to Russia. And y'all are just, oh, that doesn't sound like it could be, so I'm not even going to investigate. Hence the fucking rant on the beginning of this video. Okay? I've proven this. Proven it. These people are fucking Russian cutouts. Alex Jones, Mark Dice, they are Russian cutouts. And while they might have dual citizenship here, a couple of them, there are these support channels that are obviously just no-name motherfuckers. And they upload content that you can tell it doesn't take an English speaker to upload. Okay? And they all have one thing in common: the Putin agenda. That's it. That's their one common thread. And now, I've been right about so much shit, and you think I'm going to be wrong about that? 4 months before the generals in Afghanistan, I knew the Russians were supporting the Taliban. I'm way over here. I'm just that fucking smart. And it's just about taking your time to give a fuck. Okay? Take your time and observe reality. You know, I don't spend a second in a room without having everything in that room in mind. Unless I'm like really like up distracted in thoughts. And even then, there's not going to be a kitten that goes by. She just entered my peripheral. Anyways, so I've documented proof of all that. One thing that the FBI could find out a lot about is by finding what logged YouTube administrators, what logged Google Plus administrators have ever commented or set any permissions or responded to any feedback or anything else I've given them, if they've actually fucking received any of it, for this channel, for the Lost Begotten channel. You could learn a whole lot by doing that. You could find the who's who of the who's in the fucking KGB at YouTube. And, okay. I think I already mentioned there were no Trump hats on Halloween. Not one. I live in central Louisiana in the fucking heart of Republican territory. Not one Trump hat on Halloween. Kids hate Trump. All of them. All kids fucking hate Trump. Especially girls. All little girls fucking hate Trump. No way I can be confused with a bot. It's pretty obvious why they've treated me like one. And they have. I'm listed as a bot or something. They have me completely suppressed within their system. There was no hashtag resist without me. There is no Trump Russia discovery to begin with without me. Now, somewhere along the line, obviously, credit wasn't given where credit was due. And I think that's what got Seth Rich killed personally. That's my opinion. I have no evidence to back that up. I have circumstantial suspicion based on timing. The time at which all the advice I had given had been taken, and then it seemed to go dark. My best guess is that he was watching videos and taking credit for the information, being selective about what he, you know. Because, well, what I teach is just way too much for most people. I understand that. It's a matter of whether or not someone can get their head out of their ass long enough to find what's useful to them personally. But anyways, the United States government must seize Google and Facebook. They have gone beyond the platform of media, technology, or anything else. Essentially, they have become more capable than the National Security Agency and CIA combined. And we cannot outsource our national security. By trusting Facebook and Google, these corrupt international corporations, to protect Americans, the United States government is failing in its constitutional obligations. There should be antitrust legislation taken immediately against Google and Facebook. Because what they have done is an attempt at omnipresence. They have become a more powerful national security agency, more powerful Central Intelligence Agency, conveniently spying on Americans for Russians and picking and choosing who should be allowed to have a voice. That's what they've done. Figure out how, or be destroyed. Your country will end. These fucking morons I talked to on the phone today. It's fucking unbelievable. One other thing that they've done is promote paranoia to avoid oversight. Okay? I, for instance, assumed that Google was already being monitored closely by the FBI, CIA, NSA, etc. And that most conspiracy people think that crime is basically enabled depending on corruption, If you're in the clubs or whatever, if you're bribing them or in cahoots. And everybody else just gets selectively spied on and silenced, right? No, that's what Facebook does. That's what Google does. They work for Russia. They need to work for the United States government. I would be more comfortable if the United States government had that ability, frankly, because I know the United States government doesn't want to destroy the United States, does it? Russia, on the other hand, a bit. But yeah, everybody thought they were safe online because Big Brother was watching. There's no way Russian ads could be making it through, right? Your basic fucking perspective on reality is stupid if you think that. I know, mine was. I was a moron. I'm still a moron in a lot of ways. I'm at least not a moron in this way. You should try it on for size. It feels like America. actually being civically active and aware of the world around you. Gosh. It has now been proven that our government is almost clueless compared to what we've been led to believe. And if you remember the Total Information Awareness Project, Facebook and Google combined have easily become exactly that. And last I checked, there was a bill could be used against that in some way. But actually, no, I complained about the wording of it at the time because it really only just defunded the TIA. But that's DARPA's thing. Ooh. I'm going to contact DARPA next. So, Durbin, McCaskill, Kennedy, Landrew. Landrew isn't even a senator anymore. I tried to call Mary Landrew and I got Butch Cassidy's office. I'm like, did she really she lost the, oh. I didn't even get told when the fucking runoff was. I didn't even get told when I was supposed to vote. I watch news. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, Miss Klobuchar, they lied to you about AdSense. They just lied. The only way to weaponize social media is through infiltration. You can't just go on a user level onto these platforms and accomplish what they did. Okay? You just can't do it. I don't even know how to explain that to most people. But I've provided screenshots that prove it. Now, I suppose you have to take my word that those screenshots are accurate. You have to take my word that those. I would be more than happy to add a government official as a manager on my channel. I would be more than happy to do that and let you have access to all the behind the scenes information on my YouTube channel. I'd be more than happy to do that. But you can see from there that comments are held for review, which means that they're not supposed to show up. Okay? These fucking people, the Russians' comments just show up. Have they hacked into Google completely? I mean, that's a distinct possibility. But the reason why that isn't the issue, okay, the reason why that isn't the case is because Google has modified its policies in response to the efforts of yours truly to keep me from being successful. That's actually happened. And I know that sounds far-fetched, but if I didn't have many different instances confirming it to me over and over again, I wouldn't bother telling you. How I can prove this, the real one that sticks out, that's just easy to go look up. Okay, find when YouTube disabled the donate button. 3 days before that, I had announced finally for the first time on this channel, I would like for people to use the donate button. All of their attempts at ad censorship and stuff like that, those have been indirect ways of targeting me. All those keywords, they were, I took my content in a different direction. I've responded very strategically, and as horrible as it sounds, and I would hate to do this to anyone. I really would at this point because I've got 3,700 videos or some shit like that. But you need to go from the beginning, and you need to correlate what was going on in the news in the world. Look it up day by day. Follow the channel. Follow what happened here. Because I reported on it in real time. I can't remember it all at once. That's why I recorded it all on YouTube. So I wouldn't have to remember it all at once. Right after I got my channel monetized, they allowed anybody to monetize a fucking channel. Okay. They still to this day have hundreds of thousands of views missing from this channel. I've never signed up for any paid like and view service. Which, by the way, there's some serious self-dealing going on when there's Russian-owned websites and foreign Macedonian, like different areas where there are Russians. Okay. And they have websites that will sell you 100 real subscribers for like $5. It's fucking crazy. I had assumed that that was like a thing that happened early on in YouTube's history, and I didn't even think it could still be going on, in fucking 2015 when I got the channel. And I didn't stumble onto it into that this was a thing that people were doing. Yeah, what the hell? Until I was searching for likes disappearing from my channel. Likes disappear from my channel. Likes disappear off of MSNBC. Likes disappear off of CBS and AFP and Newsy and all these sites that YouTube is robbing the views and the money from. They don't count your views. They don't have to count your ads. So you're making them money. They don't have to share. Oh yeah, they're doing it. A lot. They were only doing it to American channels. Now they do it a little bit to everybody, so they can cover their asses a little better. But yeah, all you Russian shills out there, Mark Dice, Alex Jones, YouTube's screwing you now too. That's okay. You'll all be in jail soon, or on fire. Either way, works for me. Did I mention the whole spontaneous human combustion? These are the jokes. Anyways, yeah, jokes. What are these? Jokes. Yeah, this is a fucking big joke. The biggest joke they fucking played on everybody. The biggest joke they played on me. The hashtag tracker. Okay? Now, if you want some subpoenable data that can show you the targeting of political centrists, the targeting of free speech, why don't you ask these people to show you all of the hashtags they track and all relevant data for each of them. Because then you'll have something like Resistance founder Jonas Revelations, Apocalypse, all this has happened before, so say we all. All the different hashtags that I tried on Twitter, they're going to be on this list. It's the reason why I kept starting it. I know how to prove crimes. Okay? I know how to prove data. You know? And I've been acting accordingly. All of this time. Thinking that our government was competent. And if you take offense to that, little government people, let me assure you, objectively, you need to understand that you are not competent. A lot of you are good at what you do. A lot of you are very competent at your individual positions. But as a whole, the entire law enforcement and intelligence of the United States is completely incompetent. And I can prove it in 3 fucking sentences. Wait, I can narrow it down to 1. Do you have an algorithm? Oh, it's a question. Ooh, it's in 1 question I can prove to you that you're all incompetent. Do you have an algorithm that analyzes internet posts for the phrase "attention FBI"? You don't. I know you don't. Because I've been fucking using it for 5 fucking years. And you're clueless. You don't know shit about shit until it's fucking handed to you by a bunch of fuck-ups. Don't think you're doing a good job because Trump and Russia are so fucking sloppy. You better thank your lucky stars they've been as sloppy as they have been. Because without that, I'd be all you fucking had. Before they got sloppy, I was all you had. The reason why they got so far, because you didn't fucking know. You didn't know at all. That I had posted YouTube video after YouTube video with "Attention FBI" in the fucking tags. Some of them I even had titled "Attention FBI" in the title. Now, simply, algorithmically, a competent American government, at least one that's half as competent as the X-Files, like YouTube videos and shit makes you try to seem, okay? You would have correlated my former political activism against the Bush administration, my IQ, my email address, my previous activity on the web. I would be flagged, constantly monitored as an individual of interest. Instead, you know who has me flagged and monitored as an individual of interest? Russia. That makes them more competent than you, individually and collectively. Yet they're evil, but, they're better at it. You're not very good at being good. It's about time that fucking changed. You don't even know your own history without me. You don't even know America's history. America does not know its own history. Okay? What do you know? The past 100 years? Maybe. But if you think only Japanese own Japanese flags, you fail. The Russians were behind Pearl Harbor. The Russians were behind 9/11. The Russians were behind North Korea. We got that leaked. They were manning those planes. It wasn't the Chinese. Look it up. The Russians were behind the VC. The Russians were behind David Koresh. The Russians were behind Chavez, Gaddafi, Bin Laden, Hussein. The Russians have been behind every one of America's enemies, internal and external. McVeigh, for decades, if not centuries, plural. Now, bear in mind the royal house of Bavaria and Britain, Prussia, and Georgia have some overlap. And that is the time in which we rebelled from those people. I need to take people like infants by their hands and walk them through a basic understanding of their own country, just so they can stop calling me crazy because they're failures. It's easier to call someone crazy than realize that you're a failure. I understand that. But when an American citizen who's documented as having a genius IQ, who was scouted by naval intelligence, I mean, I was at the Naval Intelligence Facility, the classified facility in New Orleans. Okay? They were very serious about giving me that job. And then my spine was broken in 3 places. I'm sorry. That's the only reason why I'm not working in naval intelligence right now. But you know what? If I was working for naval intelligence, I don't think I would have had the time that it took to know what I know. A lot of you don't know what I know because your spines aren't broken. You can walk like 7 days a week and shit. Sounds lovely. But unfortunately for me, I have to force myself to stay still for large periods of time. And I'm always doing research. I'm always observing reality. Doing research, observing reality, researching reality, observing history, predicting the future, being right 9 times out of 10. Donna Brazile, Jill Stein, and the socialist tank for Bernie. Who said that? Oh yeah, that was me. How long ago did I say it? Over a year ago. Well timed though. Well timed. Her new book. And I'm supposed to deal with Louisiana Democrats, knowing that Donna Brazile's influential around here. Great. What? No, I'm not brushing off the crust from my sleepy eyes. I haven't slept. Holy crap. It's already 2:30. 2:15. Let's get back to my fucking list. Oh, another lie that they told Congress was that the activity was anti-Hillary before the election and then anti-Trump after the election. All of the bots I encountered, all of the fucking bots I encountered were anti-Hillary. That's it. Okay? They were either pro-Bernie or pro-Trump. That's it. Or just fucking pro-Putin. Then, after the election, it wasn't bots that were saying resist. It wasn't bots that were questioning the legitimacy. What he's acknowledging without saying is that I am a bot to him. If you posted hashtag resist, you got listed as a bot. Unless you were famous. Unless they couldn't get away with it. And that's it. That's what happened. That needs to be investigated. Or we don't have a fucking country. Okay? Why do I have to listen to this guy? Because he fucking knows more than you. That's why you have to listen to me. Because I know more than you. Why do I know more than you? I was born smarter than a lot of you, granted. But that's not why I know more than you. I was reincarnated, and I can remember my past lives. And I remember fighting the Horde in my past lives. And that helped me recognize what was going on, but that's still not really why I know more than you. It's because I fucking paid attention. You were too busy. I wasn't. Don't make me apologize for that. I have in my life, and I try to at least once a week, admitted to, called myself a moron. It's a very healthy intellectual process for one to go to, and I highly recommend it. Because when it comes to this fucking shit with Russia, you have all been morons for way too long. Now, just like any cute, cuddly baby Jesus, I just want equals to, interact with. So, grow up. Wisen up. Shape up. Be all you can be. Alright. So, yeah. The idea that it was trolls questioning the legitimacy of Donald Trump is a direct attempt at an acknowledgement by Twitter of the attempt at suppression of free speech. Actually, success at suppression of free speech. Bots were out in full force, flagging people. I had my account unverified. Then my Facebook just stopped working on my phone. Wouldn't be updated. Didn't have the room to update because it had blown itself up to 280 megabytes. And it was right as Trump first met with the Russians YouTube changed its policy to allow monetization of, any random fucking chill channel. It was 2 days after I mentioned it, they removed the donate button. And essentially, they weren't just allowing, Google wasn't just allowing, they were paying through AdSense foreign nationals to suppress the free speech of elections. Now, why was I suppressed in general? Because I can speak sense to any conspiracy theorist on the right or the left, from neocons to Wiccans. My outreach was aimed at their target audience, the marginalized, those who don't feel like they have a voice because they have theories. To misunderstand Russian influence on social media, to understand Russian influence on social media, we need to revisit the quote, help, to understand the Russian influence on social media as a whole, okay, to understand the infiltration and all that, we need to revisit and reaccount for the quote, help that the Russians had given us to fight, quote, terrorism. Because the translators, those are the people. Those are the people right there. Those are the ones harassing Americans and letting other people into the back doors. Now, understand that when they met with the Trump campaign, they didn't just offer dirt on Hillary Clinton. They offered to go to war against the American people on behalf of the Trump campaign. Okay? They offered to harass and troll and bully and flag and suppress the shit out of us. Okay? They went to go make sure they had all their ducks in order. It's something that the Russians and the right-wing media groups had already been colluding in. That's why they didn't need to spell it out. Now, you can say it was an attack on the elections. You can say it was an attack on Democrats. But the fact of the matter is, the propaganda, the attack on the mind that tore this country apart, it was aimed at all Americans, not just Hillary supporters. Now, another thing. What did Manafort launder? Why did he spend $800,000 at a fucking tie shop? Or whatever. Those are bribes. All that money he laundered, and I think Mueller actually knows this. I hope he knows this. I said he was doing it when he was doing it. During the primary, I said it. Bribes for the primaries. That's what all that money was for. Bribing all kinds of fucking people. I mean, just shelling it out. See, another thing. Why Trump wants the death penalty for that guy from the other day. Well, same reason why nobody's mentioned the Walmart shooter from Colorado. Well, not many, right? It's just fucking been glossed over. That's because that would ruin his narrative if he talked. I've already pointed out the timing of this. It was timed perfectly. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. And if you don't know what it was juxtaposed against, I, I'm sorry, I don't feel the need to have to spell it out. What was going on when the fucking attack happened? The hearing for these fucking people I was talking about. I was just YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, Republicans support far left people because they want to destroy religion. Republicans support far right people, neocons, because they actually want us to have a giant military budget. They want us to spend all kinds of money on technology. Technology they can then steal and build more of. They also don't mind us feeling very comfortable and safe, because that's when we're at our stupidest. Now, things like simplify the tax code, that just means make more room for loopholes for us to exploit. Another thing you got wrong in Congress there was that there's been no assassinations. Really? You don't think there's been any assassinations here in America? Have you noticed how many fucking people died? You don't think any of them used to be communists? Hello? You've just not looked into that? You got like a programmer that I could talk to about making an algorithm that could analyze that for you? Wouldn't be hard. I can't even fucking begin. Is it not obvious that an anomalous amount of famous people have died in the past election cycle? That doesn't seem suspect to anyone, considering everything else that's going on? No? Hmm. Me being aware that you're not aware is why I'm so pissed off and calling you a bunch of morons. Okay. And that's why my subscribers laugh at that. They're laughing at you because they know I'm right. And it's just, you just got to ask yourself, how incompetent is the United States government, and therefore harmless, and therefore debunkative, if that's a word? How debunkative is it of everything Alex Jones ever tried to say? Big Brother's watching you, and FEMA's going to take over, blah, blah, blah. How incompetent is our government for having not used me as a resource yet? I mean, I could understand the Democratic Party not seeing the brilliance of my strategy. But, really? Attention FBI didn't do it for anyone? No. So the Russians noticed because Google was helping them. If the FBI didn't notice, that means that Google isn't helping. America. Hmm, very interesting. Now, I think that is everything for the notes. Other than if you didn't get told about this over the phone by me, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now. In 1991, I was a fresh cut skinhead, and I had a friend named Alan Potts who was kind of like my bad influence. Older kid. I was about 10 years old. He was 15, I think, and had a little clique of skinheads. And his dad was in the KKK. His uncle, I think, or his dad used to be Grand Wizard, and his uncle was currently Grand Wizard of LaGrange, Texas. And I was informed of a plan that was a contingency for if an African American was ever elected president. And it was to listen for the key word Novorossiya. You know what they called Ukraine when they invaded? Right? Novorossiya. It's where Russia is about to invade. And this plan was very clear. The KKK, all the white nationalists in the country, were going to turn to Russia to regain control of the government. That is a very real plan. It is a very real conspiracy against the United States. I'm giving personal testimony to it right now. My name is Sean Morris. Can we please do something about this now? I'd like for my children to grow up in a free land. Okay? So if you can't understand my frustration, you can kiss my ass.